What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 16 of the Dallas Sports Pod. My name is Sammy HT, and we have a lot to discuss today regarding a lot of things, mostly regarding Kalel Ware. I'll be honest, Kalel Ware was fantastic last night. We'll discuss that in a second. We also have the top 5 best Miami Dolphins players in the Mike McDaniel era exclusively, and then also other news concerning Miami football recruiting, ironically enough, and the Florida Panthers and their current slump. So let's get right into the show without any further ado. Kalel Ware is a star. Okay, he's a star in the making. And I know people don't want to hear it because we could potentially be trading him, but he has been absolutely electric. And last night, he just displayed an insane he had an insane display of both athleticism and just stuffing the stat sheet, man. He had 16 points, 11 rebounds, 7 blocks, and 5 steals. He's the first player in Heat history to have a stat line of that caliber. 10, 10, 5, and 5. And then he's the first NBA player to do it overall on the bench. So it's one of those things where you just see the growth of Kalel Ware right before our very eyes. And of course, Eric Spoelstra was ecstatic in the post presser. Contrary to popular belief, I think Eric Spoelstra actually likes coaching Kalel Ware. So let's go ahead and get his thoughts overall on Kalel Ware and what he thinks of that performance, shall we?
Actually, just can you talk about their impact in Kalel?
Hey, he was jumping, getting off the ground, and the head coach didn't even have to tell him. I think his teammates are encouraging him to be more aggressive guarding the basket, and he's getting more alert on situations. His first few rim protections were in our man, which are the toughest ones to get in the pick and roll. But he was super active tonight. Really should have been 8 blocks. And then I think they took another one off. That could have been 9 blocks. Who's got the most blocks this season? Wemby, 9. Dang it! Should have been Kalel tying that tonight. But I'm encouraged by his last handful of games. Just doing a lot of
This
things
guy,
that
man.
Are impacting the game.
This guy, bro. You would have thought that this guy hated Kalel Ware early on in the season, and all of a sudden, he's my. Oh, you see him jumping out the building? I'm gonna get to that in just a second. I don't want to be all sour grapes on Spo. He's an all-time legend, but my goodness, the way he was treating Kalel Ware earlier this year. We'll talk about it in a second. But first off, Tyler Hero with his thoughts on Kalel Ware.
Yeah. No, yes. People forget Khalil's 21 years old, like second year in the league. There's gonna be ups and downs. He's still learning. The best thing about Lil is he wants to learn. He wants to be great, and there's gonna be ups and downs. And you see tonight his potential. That he can tap into 7 blocks. Should have been 8, and he's continuing to get better. Yeah.
So Tyler Hero has actually had a lot of playing time with Kalel Ware, and I feel like those two have very good chemistry. If we do offer Tyler Hero that extension, which I doubt happens, but if we do, I'm actually very excited to see Hero and Ware down the line. Unfortunately, with the year Hero has had in terms of injury and stuff, it's gonna be a bit difficult to sell that really for Kalel Ware. But let's hear Bam, right? Let's hear Bam talk about his partner in crime. Remember, Bam last night was in foul trouble. I don't know if you guys saw. He was in heavy foul trouble last night, and he was out for about like a good portion of the second half. And Kalel Ware filled in, and he filled in amazingly. Okay, and we're gonna and it's just watch this. Just watch how Bam talks about Bam Adebayo. Watch how Bam talks about Kalel Ware, man.
Worked himself in Heat history and NBA history. So kudos to him. I'm proud of him, and he did it while getting a double-double, so that makes it even better. But like I've always said, I see what he can do, and he was able to showcase a lot of obviously the defensive side. well today.
I don't understand how we don't have Bam. I don't understand how we don't have Bam and Ware playing more often together. I mean, last night was a different scenario, but the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. When Bam and Ware played together, we played well. In Ware's last 10 games, you guys see it right here. 12 points, 11 rebounds, a block, a steal a game, 54% from the field, 40% from three, 60% shooting. He's a plus 72, bro. Like, he's a plus 72. Let's be serious right now. And then 7 double-doubles, and we have a 7-3 record in our last 10 games. Tonight's a big test, obviously, because we face the Charlotte Hornets, and the Hornets are the hottest team in the league, the hottest team in basketball. I think they've won like 16 out of the last 19 games. They've been absolutely ridiculous. They've been absolutely it's incredible what Charles Lee is doing with that crew. Knuppel has been a fantastic. But with Kalel Ware, it feels like this kind of game was is obviously the 7 blocks and 5 steals is very impressive. 12 stocks in a game is crazy. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend like Kalel Ware isn't capable of 16 and 11 each and every night. He's averaging a double-double pretty much. And I'm sick and tired of pretending that this kid should be getting under 20 minutes a game. I'm sick and tired of tolerating that. I don't want to see him get under 20 minutes a game ever again. Like, seriously. He is way too productive. He's way too important to the Heat for us to possibly think, yeah, we should play him under 20 minutes. This guy has to play 25 minutes a night, okay? And the reason I say that is that, like, if you look throughout the year, and this is what gets me so upset. If you look throughout the year, like month to month, this year at least, month to month this year, Kalel Ware's minutes have slowly gone down. So in November, and I'll go ahead and pull it up here. Just to prove a point. I'll pull it up here just to prove a point. Let me find it. Here we go.
All you got to do is go, what's up?
Oh my goodness.
Go practice.
God bless. That was annoying. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Good Lord. All right, we'll lower that. Now it's not going to happen again. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, in the month of October, like, we'll go ahead and zoom in. I'm going to make sure I get this right, man. I want to make sure y'all see this, man. Look at the minutes. October, only 5 games, 21 minutes. In November, he averaged 26 minutes, right? In that span, he averaged 13 points per game, 11, pretty much 12 rebounds, shot 56% from the field, and pretty much 47% from 3. Okay? That's amazing. In 26 minutes, and it's his second year, that's looking good to start the year. December comes around. He averages 25 minutes again. This time, so he drops the minutes down 2 minutes. Spo drops his minutes about like a minute, pretty much. 13 points, 10 rebounds. He shoots 61% from the field and 54% from 3. So yes, the Heat are in a bit of a rough stretch in the month of December. But with that said, Kalel Ware is not the cause of that. Kalel Ware is not the reason that's happening. Okay? Then it seems like in January, I don't know what the heck happens. I don't know what happens. But in January, Spo just loses faith in Ware, period. He drops Ware's minutes down, not under 20 for God knows why. After 2 productive months, he drops his minutes to 17 minutes a game. And of course, the production drops. 46% from the field, 30% from 3. I mean, 6 rebounds, 8 points a game. Look, should he be shooting that bad with limited time? Probably not. But I ask you, why was he not playing in the first place? Why was he gone? Why are we sitting here accepting that Kalel Ware had that kind of month? That kind of month after playing super well with the minutes that he was actually given. And mind you, this was not the case. This felt, I'm not going to say it was personal, but it certainly felt personal. Because you look at last year. And towards the end of the year, last year, Look, at the beginning of the year, as usual, Kalel Ware didn't play too much, right? 6 minutes. He didn't play much in October. Didn't play much in November. If he did, it was very minimal. And in December, it was only 14. Fine. January on, he starts playing more minutes. 25, 27, 26, 27. So the trend continues on to next year, but for whatever reason, Spo decides we're going to cut those minutes. Why? And then in the month of January, it's a disaster. Look, December was rough, but in January it was bad too. It was bad too, and Ware was not given the time that he should have. So that's why, in my opinion, it's crazy. Now I understand numbers can lie, okay? Numbers can lie sometimes, but like at some point you have to acknowledge that your team is not like the most talented, okay? We have, in terms of talent on this team, you have guys like Bam, you have guys like Hero, guys like Norman Powell, right? Jaime Jaquez Jr. And then after that, like compared to the rest of the roster, Kalel Ware is probably a top 5 most talented player on the team. I love Pele Larson. He's not as talented as Kalel Ware. He's not. I love him, but he's not. All right, he's a Swedish Army knife. Pele Larson's good. I don't want to go on a tangent about him, but I don't think his ceiling is higher than Kalel Ware's ceiling. I think what he is right now is what he is. I don't know if I can picture him getting any better. But with Kalel Ware, he's probably the most talented big outside of Bam on the team, mostly because those two are the only bigs on our team. But he's one of the most talented players on the roster, so we should be benefiting more by playing him. We should be playing him, period. There's no other excuse about it. All right? In our wins this year, Kalel Ware averages 25 minutes a game. In our losses, it's under 20. Okay? Now granted, I get it. Kalel Ware isn't the perfect prospect, okay? He's not the perfect player. He has motor issues at times, okay? Sometimes he has catching issues. Sometimes his hands, he's not really going straight up when he's defending. I get that. But let me tell you, I'm willing to work with that from a 21-year-old. He's younger than me. He's 21 years old. He's got to learn, but he's not going to learn if he's on the bench. I'm sorry. And this year has been so tumultuous. The fan base has been so frustrated with Kalel Ware. Not with Kalel Ware, with Eric Spoelstra and with this front office, because the front office and the head coach are on 2 different timelines. They are. And it was rough this year. But look, as long as we start to get it together now in this month of March, all can be forgiven. It can. He cannot not play. Okay? He can't play under 20 minutes a game for the rest of the year. He needs to be over 20. He needs to. He needs to get minutes. I'm excited to see how him and Cass grow together. Him and Cass Shakushonis. I'm excited to see how they grow together. But straight up, what cannot happen is those two not get playing time. It just can't happen. It can't. It cannot happen. I'll be honest. It'll be unacceptable if I'm being honest. It'll be unacceptable. Kalel Ware needs to get a majority of playing time. He needs to. All right? He's too good of a player. And when he plays, we win. When he plays a lot of minutes, we win. We win games. So that's my 2 cents. I think Kalel Ware is a really good player. And I think that Eric Spoelstra made a mistake, like limiting his minutes so much this year, this calendar year in 2026. I think he made a huge mistake there. But hopefully Spo learns from that and we can finally get Ware to play consistent 25 per minute basketball. All right, so next thing we're going to do in this show, we, ladies and gentlemen, are going to be, as you guys are going to see in just a second, as I adjust this real quick, as I said earlier, we are going to name the top 5 Miami Dolphins in the Mike McDaniel era, okay? Now, I'm going to go ahead and say that some of you are going to be a little bit surprised by this list. Some of you might be upset by this list. I'm here to tell you right now, don't care. Don't care, okay? You guys give me your feedback. You guys tell me what you guys think down below in the comment section. Here are my top 5 Miami Dolphins in the Mike McDaniel era. Coming in at number 5, Jalen Waddle. Let me tell you something about Jalen Waddle, man. When he first came into the league, he came with a bad hand. He got dealt a bad hand because he was dealing with QB who was being compromised by his head coach, and yet he still was incredible. Has been incredible. He had two 1,000-yard seasons in the Mike McDaniel era. He led the league in yards per catch back in 2022 with 18 a game. He has the 5th highest receptions. He had the fifth highest receiving season in Miami Dolphin history in terms of reception, and then the 4th highest in terms of receiving yards. In his career with Mike McDaniel, 4,024 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 269 receptions. Jalen Waddle is going to be a great receiver for whoever's our next QB moving forward. Jalen Waddle, his problem and why he's not higher, he has catching issues, he has drop issues, and he has health concerns a lot. I often see, unfortunately, Jalen Waddle getting hurt more on the field, like every time he gets touched, and that's kind of why it's like, I want to put him higher, but I really can't. But with that being said, I think Jalen Waddle has been great for us. He's been for a 5th overall pick, pretty good. Would I have preferred Jamar Chase? Yes, but Jalen Waddle has done just fine. He is my number 5. Next up, we have Zach Sealer. Zach Sealer, what a guy, man. He has anchored this defensive line for a good amount of years now. He's the first Dolphin since Cameron Wake to have back-to-back 2010 sack seasons. So he has had back-to-back 10 sack seasons, and then he is the Dolphins' defensive tackle single season sack record. He did it twice. Okay, so this guy has been incredible. He was a team MVP back in 2024. He's one of the few defensive linemen. I don't know why I didn't finish it here, but he's one of the few defensive linemen, defensive tackles to have back-to-back the few defensive tackles that have back-to-back 10 sack seasons. And look, if you're in the same breath as Cameron Wake, you deserve all the flowers. I understand everybody's like, oh, Christian Wilkins was really good. Christian Wilkins was good, but I feel like we've gotten more productive seasons from Zach Sealer than Christian Wilkins. I think Zach Sealer straight up is the most underrated player in the NFL. He does not get enough credit. He doesn't get enough Pro Bowl votes. He does not get enough recognition in general. I don't think he's ever been a top 100 player. Really unacceptable given the seasons that he's had. This past year he's coming off a bit of a down year, 5.5 sacks only. But look, man, we made the decision. Chris Greer made the decision to keep Zach Sealer and let go of Christian Wilkins. And in the long run, that was the right decision. So many mistakes Chris Greer made. Zach Sealer, being the franchise defensive lineman, is not one of them. He is my number 4. Number 3. Shut up. Shut up. I know what you're about to say. Shut up. Shut up. Be quiet. Respect the tribal chief. You guys are going to sit here and say, oh, he sucked. Oh, he sucked. There was a time where you guys were glazing him and talking about him potentially being an MVP for a year, okay? Yes, you were doing that. At no point, one point, you acknowledge that Tua Tagovailoa was doing things that we have not seen since Dan Marino, okay? Dan freaking Marino. Tua Tagovailoa is an all-time great Dolphin. He is. It is unfortunate that he ended up getting banged up, getting hurt, and he couldn't go anymore. I'm gonna blame it on injuries. I am. Am I coping? Maybe. But I'm blaming his drop in production this past year. I'm blaming it on injuries and injuries alone. Okay? He could have been an all-time great. He could have led the Dolphins back to the promised land. He led the league in passer rating in 2022. He led the league in passing yards in 2023. He had the third highest passing yard season in Dolphin history, and he led the league in completion percentage in 2024. Context behind that season, he did miss a couple of games. He did miss some time that year, okay? Tua Tagovailoa brought the Miami Dolphins back, okay? He made the Miami Dolphins fun. He did. But, unfortunately, he cannot be the best Dolphin of all time, because the best Miami Dolphin in the Mike McDaniel era, frankly, because he got hurt way too often. And he brought more, unfortunately, him being hurt really drops him down this list. That's the only reason. I genuinely think I get depressed thinking about this. The more I think about it, the more I get upset. But he could have really been the guy to lead us to our first playoff win in 25 years, and unfortunately, he was just too banged up. He is not my top 2 Dolphin, though. He is not. Number 2. I don't know where this season would be. I don't know what kind of fun I would have without Devon Achane. The proof is in the pudding. He's the first Dolphin player ever with 2,000 rushing yards and 1,000 receiving yards in his first 3 seasons. He's the first Dolphin ever to score 10-plus touchdowns in each of his first 3 seasons. Mind you, he missed a ton of time in his rookie year. He missed time in his rookie year. I think he played 11 games. He had 800 rushing yards, bro. The guy was unreal. He had 2,974 rushing yards, and that is the most for a Dolphin in his first 3 seasons. And he had the second greatest rushing season and yard from scrimmage season ever. That he had the best season ever. The second best season ever in those regards behind Ricky Williams, okay? I don't know why I spelled season twice. I was kind of in a rush making this. And he was a team MVP in 2025. I cannot stress enough how much I love Devon Achane, and I'm glad that we're not trading him. I want him to be a Dolphin for life, if I'm being honest, but I don't know if that's going to be likely. I want him to be a Dolphin for life. He's going to be I think he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. I genuinely think that about Devon Achane. He is going to be in the Dolphin Hall of Fame. He has been electric in his first couple seasons. He was the entire offense this year and last year, okay? Put that into perspective. He was the entire offense, and in a year where it was very depressing to be a fan of this franchise, he really brought some excitement that I don't think a lot of Miami Dolphins players bring in a year that was so bad. It was a bad year, and yet I had fun watching Devon Achane, so it saved it. It saved everything. So, yeah, Devon Achane, all-time great Dolphin already, in my opinion. Glad we're not trading him. Glad we're keeping him. I hope he stays a Dolphin for life. I hope we extend him, give him the money he deserves. But he's not number 1. He is not number 1. I'm pretty sure you guys are going to know who number 1 is going to be. Go ahead and move this real quick. It's number 1 is Tyreek Hill, okay? And look, off the field, Tyreek Hill had a lot of problems, okay? And I'm praying the brother's doing a lot better now. He's been cut by the Miami Dolphins, so I guess it doesn't really matter to us anymore. There was a time where I had the most fun ever watching the Miami Dolphins back in 2022, 2023. It was so much fun watching that team. And Tyreek Hill is the reason for that. He is. He is the reason for that. He's a 2-time first-team All-Pro. He had the most receiving yards and receptions in a season. He has the most in franchise history. The fastest player to reach 3,000 yards in franchise history In 2023, he led the league in receiving yards, touchdowns, and yards per game, and he was a back-to-back team MVP. He was a back-to-back team MVP in 2022 and 2023. Tyreek Hill was everything for the Miami Dolphins, bro. He was. And I'm sick and tired of pretending that he wasn't. I know he off the field, he was rough, and maybe he didn't come up in clutch games, but let me tell you something, man. This guy, like, how many times has a star player come to the Miami Dolphins and he really didn't live up to the hype that we all expected him to do? Tyreek Hill didn't just live up to the hype. He did more than that. He exceeded it. Tyreek Hill is going to go down as the best receiver to ever step for the Miami Dolphins. Yes, better than Mark Duper. Yes, better than Mark Clayton. He's an all-time great Miami Dolphin, and he should. And I don't know if he's gonna get his number retired. I don't know if he's gonna get his number retired for the Dolphins. I don't know if he's gonna be inserted into the Ring of Honor, but he will not be forgotten. Okay, he will not be forgotten. I had more fun watching Tyreek Hill. I had more fun watching this guy play football than any other player in Miami Dolphin history. Any other player. I know everybody likes to talk about Juice, Jarvis Landry. Be serious. This guy is an all-time great Dolphin. He is. And, that concludes the list. Those are my top 5 Miami Dolphins in the Mike McDaniel era. To finish off the show, we have some local sports news. As you guys know, we do not cover just the Miami Dolphins and the Miami Heat here. We cover all of South Florida. And with that being said, unfortunately, we have to start with some sad news, and that's that the Florida Panthers are likely going to be missing the playoffs, as you guys can probably tell from this 4-game losing streak here. We've lost 4 straight games to the Sabres, the Islanders, the Devils, and the Blue Jackets. All of those teams are fighting for playoff spots, so it doesn't surprise me that the Panthers couldn't get it done. The Panthers in our last game, if I'm not wrong, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have lost 9 out of our last 11 games. Okay, it has been an absolutely rough go for the Florida Panthers. Okay, 9 out of our last 11, and unfortunately, I don't think it's gonna get any better. We already traded away a player, Jeff Petrie, for a 7th-round pick. The trade deadline is today. And I do expect the Miami Dolphins to be sellers. I expect it to happen. Look, I won't be surprised as... Oh, we got some breaking news. The Raiders are releasing Geno Smith. Interesting. We'll see if Geno Smith... We'll see what happens. Overall, I'd say that the Miami Dolphins... I'd say that the Florida Panthers this year is a wash. I'm not going to take this year seriously. I think we had way too many injuries to Kachuk, to Barkov, to Marchand at one point. Seth Jones is still out. Like, there's so many players that are very important to us that are still out that we need. Like, we really do need. And, it just didn't work out this year. It just didn't work out. We are now 30, 29, and 3 with 63 points. And if we want to make the playoffs, I believe, if I could be wrong, if we want to make the playoffs, we're gonna have to make a pretty crazy turnaround. We're 10 points behind Boston right now, who is to say the least, we're 10 points behind Boston, and Boston has the last spot. I just don't see it happening. I really don't see it happening. Now, unfortunately, we do not own our 1st-round pick this year. So that is unfortunate. Now, that could change if we maybe we don't earn a 1st-round pick this year. So that's unfortunate, but I wouldn't blame us. Now, there is a report apparently that the top 10 pick is protected. So that we traded away, I think in the Marchand trade was protected. So I think we still could get a top 10 pick in the 1st round, but it doesn't say with the data that I have right now, it doesn't say that we do. So I'm going to take that with a grain of salt. But yeah, it's over for the Panthers this year. It is. It's unfortunate, but it doesn't really surprise me. It doesn't really surprise me. The Panthers will be back next year. I don't think this is the end of Panther hockey. I do think we're closing in on the end of certain players being here, though. Like Sergei Bobrovsky, I think we are about to see the end of it for Sergei Bobrovsky at the goaltender spot. But yeah, I expect us to be sellers on the trade deadline. I don't know who we're going to trade, but I don't expect us to keep this roster together. I expect us to coast through the regular season and just regroup for next year. Other news. The Miami Hurricanes have a commit. So it's been a quiet offseason for the Miami Hurricanes in terms of news. But this news just dropped. The number 4 wide receiver in the 2027 Rivals 300. He has committed to the University of Miami. So another pickup from Mario Cristobal. Look, Mario Cristobal has always been like an elite recruiter, and I expect more of these to keep on coming. I would say that it's encouraging that these recruits, like, because it felt like 5 years ago, like we were never really getting these blue chip recruits as often, man. It really didn't feel like we would, and now I feel like we are, and since we are, it feels like the team has gotten better and better. So under Manny Diaz, this wasn't happening. Under Mark Richt, this wasn't happening. This era of recruiting is so important because of the transfer portal and stuff like that. I think Mario Cristobal has really mastered the transfer portal. He's mastered recruiting. And because of that, I expect him to be the University of Miami head coach for a very long time. Now, pressure's on still for this year, but some great news for the Miami Hurricanes. In other news, the Miami Hurricanes basketball team has clinched the third seed. Now, how did this happen? Well, the Tar Heels recently beat Clemson, and since we own the tiebreaker over North Carolina, and since we own that tiebreaker, we will finish above in the third seed. No matter what happens in the last game, whether we lose or whether we win, we're not moving. So we are going to be locked in the third seed. It remains to be seen who we're going to be playing. I believe Syracuse and Wake Forest are tied for the 14th seed right now, the 13th seed right now. So they're going to be participating in that tournament, in the ACC tournament. I like our seeding, and I think we can go on a pretty deep run in the ACC tournament. We could potentially meet up in the final. We could. I think we'd have to get through Virginia, which would be an interesting game. The team to beat is hands down Duke, though. Duke is the team to beat, and I'm not going to lie to you guys. The odds of us beating Duke aren't very high. Okay, they're not. Duke's really good this year. 28-2. They're incredible. Next game for the Miami Hurricanes comes this Saturday, tomorrow at 2 p.m. We face off against Louisville. This game really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. It's just to improve our overall record and to add another quad 1 win. Yeah, I'd say let's just finish the year off strong, coming off a big road win against SMU. I think if we finish off strong against Louisville, I think we have a chance to get a pretty high seeding in March Madness tournament. Maybe top 7 seed. We'll see. I don't know if we're gonna get higher than 6, but look, man, the Miami Hurricanes, we should be ranked a little bit higher. I'll be honest, but we'll see. We will see what happens. I'm excited for this March Madness, man. The Miami Hurricanes are gonna show out. Can't wait to see it. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the Dallas Sports Pod. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you are new. I upload twice, or I try to upload twice every single week. Every single week, a podcast is going to come out. I try, busy with work and stuff, but we'll get to it. We will be consistent with it very, very soon. Keep an eye out for shorts on the daily. I upload my thoughts and opinions, not just on Miami sports, but overall, whether it's NFL, NBA, all that other stuff. So keep an eye on some shorts of that. Thank you guys so much for watching. On the road to 100K. I'm at 100K. I wish. 100 subscribers. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Would really much appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching again, and I will see you guys next time. Dale.